So 5 fans, fellow YouTubers, Kev here, Kevsthoughts. I have to go on record and just hold my hands up to say sorry guys. Last video I done, I had Amir to move on up to the next weight division and start fighting the super fights, which didn't happen. Bit of a late one for me last night, come from Liverpool, England. Let's move on to last night's fight. First of all, let's go into the build-up. I studied the boxes in the build-up. I say study, you know, I watched what you can on YouTube. I've seen the build-up on Sky Sports TV. And I have to say, I was more interested to see what Molina was going to bring to the table. You know, he's Mexican, a Mexican Californian. What style was he going to bring? I had a little look into it. He was obviously a durable fighter, liked to come forward. Not the most powerful puncher, that was his reputation. But he did look like he had a bit of nous about him. I mean, he had speed. His own trainer went on to say that he thought he was faster than Khan, which, excuse me, we can all say on last night's display is a load of bollocks, like. But then I was looking at Khan in the build-up as well. Was he hungry? What was he learning? Was he learning anything new? There was all this talk about defensive qualities getting brought into his game. Well, let's just say I was impressed with Virgil Hunter. I mean, I thought, you know, look at the way he talks to Khan. I mean, some of the scenarios he paints when he's talking to the reporters and stuff like that, he looks really good. I thought some of the techniques you seen on Sky Sports, the one where he's standing on his foot, and he was basically saying to Khan, look, you don't have to always go to your opponent to throw a punch, you know, allow the opponent to make the move and then pick him off. I mean, we all see what happened in the Pacquiao fight a couple of weeks ago. I mean, Pacquiao come rushing in, he thought he was on top winning the fight. I think he was winning the fight himself, probably a round up, but you see the way Marquez, his timing was spot on. He just caught him with like the sickest punch I've seen in years of boxing. In fact, it was probably the best punch since then. Besides that was probably, as I say, was when Khan got knocked out by Garcia. They were my two best punches of the year up to now, I think. But yeah, so Virgil was teaching him a little bit defensive qualities. I didn't see that much in the fight, I have to be honest. I thought Khan was still Khan. He was going in, he was fast hands, he's like, I don't know, he was in, he was out, he was creating the angles. But then there was one thing that I did notice in the fight, and then it sort of changed it for me then as the fight was progressing. I started to think to myself, maybe he has learned stuff, was when he was putting that left hand on the face of Molina, like gauging the distance. You know, he looked like he was starting to get his timing a bit better. He was putting that arm out there and then snapping that right hand in. And it wasn't just all right hands to the face. I mean, there's a lot of people saying stuff like, oh, he didn't go to the body, he could have done more damage if he went downstairs. But if you noticed, he was catching him downstairs as well. And I thought it was a really quality addition to his locker, that, because I've never seen Khan do that in a fight. It reminded me of like Muhammad Ali quite a few years back. I mean, you go on YouTube and watch some Muhammad Ali videos. I mean, you can see it. He always throws that left arm out there, like puts his fingertips on the opponent's head, on the face. He got warned a few times by referees, if I remember correctly, and he'd know like where the opponent's head's movement is. Then he's bopping left to right, he's coming forward, blah blah blah, and then he could snap that right hand in. But that was a quality little move. And then obviously the jab. What can you say? Is there a better jab at 140 than what Amir Khan's got? Pinpoint, laser guided accuracy. At times, I mean, sometimes it was a bit sloppy, but when you come with that much speed, I mean, it's hard to be accurate all the time. Because as soon as he's throwing one punch, his body's resetting for the next punch, and then his body's resetting for the next punch. So it's constantly moving. But when he was just throwing that left hand out there, like, he was reeling off like 3 or 4 jabs at a time, just mincing Molina. And I mean, let's look at, just watch the fight back, look at, or if you've seen the fight, Molina's face after the first round was a mess. Come the end of the fight, God knows how it went that long. I mean, I'd have stopped the fight 3 rounds before that. I mean, he had heart, he wanted to keep fighting. He did manage to land a couple of blows, but the punch return, really, compared to Khan, was frighteningly poor. In fact, I had a little look on the old internet today, see if I could get some statistics up there on punches thrown, punches landed, no percentages, but I couldn't find any. So if any of you YouTubers have got any websites out there for me, then just type it in underneath, and I'll check that out for the future fights. But yeah, as far as the fight went in whole, I thought, I say, for Amir Khan fans, what more do you want? He's come back, he's built his confidence up again. He's I don't think he should get carried away. I mean, he's calling out Garcia. I mean, everybody wants that fight, which would be a quality rematch. But yeah, in terms of that fight, it was slick, it was smooth. He did listen to the corner a bit more. I mean, he did pull back, if you will. There was 1 or 2 times when his chin was hanging out, and he tried to throw there, like tried to follow in. After he received the punch, he'd throw like a check punch back. Yeah, you got me, bang, throw a punch back. But like Khan, his last fight, if he was getting caught by Garcia, instead of just throwing like one punch like a left jab and then stepping back out, he was like throwing a left punch, and then he was almost going on his toes and leaning in, and he was just rushing in like punches and bunches, just throwing wild swings in there. Yeah, that was gone. That was out of the game. Not completely, but you know, he did tighten that up, which I thought was quality. Yeah, so overall, good fight. Looking forward to seeing him fighting again. If you can't get the Garcia fight in the spring, then he will need another fight, I think, which will only benefit when it comes to the rematch. But then, yeah, what he said himself, actually, didn't he? He's only got about a year left in that weight division. He's starting to struggle to make the weight, which, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen an interview with Garcia. He thinks he's only got a couple of fights left at that division. The interview I was seeing him in, he was walking around, I think he said 153, 154. For a 140 fighter, I mean, that's quite big, isn't it? It's quite a lot of weight. So maybe that fight that's going to have to happen next year, if it's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Another little interesting point I seen last night was Andre Ward. He done an interview on Sky, calling out Carl Froch, which, to be honest, that's a fight I really do want to see. I missed the first fight. I've seen it, highlights of it. I mean, it's not the same as when you actually watch it, is it? But that's a fight I'm looking forward to seeing again. Apparently, Eddie Hearn has not been in touch, so I know he's not going to be listening, but if you are listening, Eddie Hearn, make that fight happen. It'll sell quite well, I think. It'll make a lot of money, and it's a fight the fans want to see. Yeah, well, that's my video anyway. First one back. I never know, I might make some more at YouTube. This is Kevsthoughts. One love.